There's a moment that happens every night. After the screen goes dark, after the last scroll, after the last video you told yourself would be the last one. You lie there, quiet. And somewhere in that quiet, a thought surfaces. Not loud, just honest. You know you didn't do enough today. You felt it at noon. You ignored it by evening. And now at midnight, it's sitting on your chest asking you a question you don't want to answer. How many days have looked exactly like that? You're not here because things are going well. You're here because something isn't working. The days keep starting with intention and ending with regret. You plan, you promise, you reset. And then the next morning arrives and somehow it all falls apart before it even begins. Not because you don't care. You care more than most people know, but caring without structure is just pain with no direction. And you've been carrying that pain quietly for a long time. That ends today. Every single morning you open your eyes, the day is blank. 24 hours. No instructions. No one telling you what to do with them. And that freedom, that pure open space, is either the most powerful thing you have or the most dangerous. Most students treat the morning like a waiting room. They drag through it. Snooze twice, reach for the phone before their feet hit the floor. Suddenly, 15 minutes are gone, then 30. Then an hour has disappeared into a feed of noise that was never about them and never will be. You gave your clearest hour to strangers. The morning is not just a time. It is a signal you send to yourself. When you rise early and move with intention, before the notifications, before the demands, before the world starts pulling at you, you are telling something deep inside you that your goals matter more than your comfort. That's not a small thing. That's the beginning of everything. Wake before the noise begins. Open the window. Drink water slowly. Let the light reach you. Take one breath and feel the day before the day starts feeling you. Then move your body. Not for performance. Just to wake what sleep left still. Walk. Stretch. Something small. Because when your body activates, your mind follows. The fog clears. The drag lifts. You stop existing in the morning and you start showing up in it. Then eat something real. Because your brain is not a machine that runs on nothing. It burns through energy every time you concentrate, every time you wrestle with something hard, every time you choose focus over drift. Skipping meals doesn't build discipline. It builds fog. Feed yourself like someone who respects what they're trying to build. Now open your hardest subject right now. While your mind is sharp and the world hasn't exhausted you yet. One focused hour in the early morning does more than 3 tired hours after midnight. Not because you're more motivated, because your brain is actually working at its highest capacity. Use that window like it's the most valuable hour of your day. Because it is. Work for 50 minutes with nothing else open. No music with lyrics. No notifications. No tabs you'll quickly check. Full presence. Then rest for 10. Not phone rest. Real rest. Stand. Stretch. Drink water. Let your mind breathe. Rest is not surrender. Rest is what makes the next round of focus possible. Without it, you're not disciplined. You're just burning. Then comes the part of the day that steals the most from students without them ever noticing. Class. Lectures. Someone at the front of a room transferring information while 30 people sit in varying degrees of absence. Writing something down that sounds important. Nodding at the right moments. And then walking out and within 2 hours being unable to recall a single complete idea. This is not a failure of intelligence. This is what passive learning looks like. You were present in body and absent in mind, and the material passed through you like water through sand. After every class, spend 3 minutes. 3. Write down what you actually understood in your own words. Not copy notes. Your words. Your translation. That small habit rewires how your brain stores information. It compresses what was loose. It saves you hours when examinations arrive and everyone around you is panicking, and you are reviewing rather than starting from zero. Eat at midday. Rest for 15 minutes. A short walk outside or eyes closed, phone down. You have been processing since morning. Your brain needs a moment to consolidate before you ask it for more. This is not laziness. This is how high performance actually functions. The afternoon is not for learning new things. It is for doing. Your energy is lower. Your focus is softer. Don't fight it. Work with it. Solve problems from past papers. Complete practice sets. Use flashcards. Active doing rather than passive reading. Your brain responds to application. It cements what was only floating when you use it under pressure. That is not studying harder. That is studying correctly. Evening is where most students collapse. The day felt long. The work felt heavy. And so they disappear into their phones for 3, 4, 5 hours, telling themselves they earned it. And they did earn rest, genuine rest, but the kind of rest that consumes the entire night and leaves you feeling hollower than before. That kind is not recovery. That kind is escape. And there is a difference between the two that most people only recognize at midnight when the guilt returns and the phone is still in their hand. You are not behind, but this habit is putting you behind. Every single evening. Move in the evening. Run, walk, whatever your body will give you. 20 minutes. 30, because movement in the evening does something no screen ever will. It processes the stress your day built up. It resets the chemistry that the pressure created. Students who move in the evening sleep deeper, wake sharper, start the next day with less weight. That is not inspiration. That is how your body actually works. Use it. After movement, create something. Music, writing, drawing. Something that comes from inside you rather than being consumed from outside. Creating instead of consuming. That shift is smaller than it sounds and larger than you think. It keeps the life in your days. It keeps you from becoming someone who only absorbs and never produces. Then spend 20 minutes in light revision. Not new material, not grinding, just a quiet pass over what you studied earlier in your own words. This is the habit that moves information from short-term to permanent. It does not feel dramatic. It simply works. Before sleep, plan tomorrow. Specific tasks, not vague intentions, not study chemistry. Write chapter 6, solve 20 practice questions, review the last 2 lessons. Specific, concrete, because your brain orbits unfinished things. That's the anxiety that keeps you awake. When you write the plan down, your brain releases it. It no longer needs to hold on. It can finally rest. Put the phone down before you sleep. Blue light keeps your brain in daytime mode, so you scroll until the hours disappear and then wonder why the cycle won't break. The cycle breaks when you decide to break it, not when it gets easier, not when motivation arrives. When you decide, 7 hours, 8. Protect your sleep the way you protect your effort, because sleep is when your brain saves what you studied. When you cut it short, you are erasing your own work. You are undoing in the night what you tried to build in the day. Now the part that lies underneath all of this. Stop measuring your progress against people on a screen. Their highlight is not their life. Their consistency is not visible. Their struggle happens off camera. You are comparing your worst moments to their best performance and calling it reality. It is not reality. It is a distortion. And every time you fall into it, you lose ground. Not to them, to yourself. Consistency is the only thing that compounds. 4 focused hours every day builds something that 12 scattered hours twice a week never will. Not because of the numbers, because of what you become in the doing. Someone who shows up, someone whose word to themselves means something, someone the future version of them can trust. And when you fall off, because the fall will come, do not spiral. Do not let one broken day become a broken week. The restart is a skill. The quiet return without drama, without punishment, without the long story about why it happened. Just return. The next morning, the next hour, clean. You came here carrying something. A tiredness that has nothing to do with sleep. A readiness you haven't yet trusted. That signal is real. It is telling you that the version of you who keeps drifting is done. That you are ready to build something that holds. So tomorrow morning, before the noise, before the phone, before the world decides what your first thoughts are, you rise, you drink water, you move your body, you open your hardest subject, and you work for 1 focused hour. You carry that into the rest of the day with intention. You move in the evening, you plan at night, you sleep on purpose. 30 days of this. Not perfection, just return. Every day you return, the structure gets stronger. And one morning you wake up and you don't recognize the weight you used to carry because you left it somewhere behind you, quietly, in the days you chose to show up. Discipline is not something that is given. It is something you build by choosing it when everything in you wants to choose otherwise. And that building, that quiet daily act of choosing structure over chaos, direction over distraction, doing over overthinking, that is what eventually becomes freedom. You have a choice right now. Close this and return to the same day. Or decide that today is the last day the broken version of your schedule controls you. One choice. Make it count.